Thank you. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Assalamu alaikum, peace. Happy Savior's Day. I'm going to try to mount this mic here if I can. Yeah. Well, all praise is due to Allah. I always feel a little bit of discomfort. The Imam just practically described to you my nature. And I think I've always been one to seek Allah's mercy and His guidance, and to want to know, like any good believer in Allah, what would Allah be pleased with coming from me? So I'm finally starting to feel good sitting up here. It did me good to sit up here and look out here into the audience. And I leaned over to Imam Mohammed here. I leaned over to him and I told him, I said, you know what I see out here in the audience? I see Imam Muhammad's audience out here. All praise is due to Allah. I see Imam Muhammad's audience. So this is a beautiful day for us. And during the month of Savior's Day, we don't feel the discomfort that over the years and over time and periods, and the bumps that we've experienced, some of the light things, we don't feel the discomfort that some of the enemies of our community have tried to put on us. I feel like I'm among believers that have really truly been blessed with something special of peace from Allah. Alhamdulillah. And we were really thinking some serious thought that I know this community, and when I said that this is the community, I'm looking at leaders here that we would consider giants. Imams are in this audience that I looked back at some pictures and I saw how young they were when they first came under the tutelage or student of Imam Warithudeen Mohammed, studying and learning, and kept up with him and came the entire way with him, which was a difficult road for a person to travel if they didn't have real faith. So I'm also looking here at a triumph of faith. This is really a true triumph of faith and trust and believe in Allah. And I have difficulty accepting any praise or any personal association, other than because my prayer has never been for myself. My prayer has always been to continue to witness and to continue to receive Allah's mercy and to witness the marvelous things that He has shown to me in my lifetime. And many of you, I'm certain, I know, because you told me yourselves that your prayer is the same, that you've seen so many miraculous things happen amongst the African American people that you know it's none other than the Lord and Creator of the heavens and the earth that is moving this, and that we can only pray that Allah keeps us conscious and a part of it, and keep us and guide us to continue to be a part of what's happening here. That it's in His hands, and the good that's being done is His work. We're only just merely participants and willing participants in this act that God is doing for His property, the human soul, the human being. All of the signs point here. There's too many signs. Imam had mentioned back here, we were back here talking and just exploring Savior's Day. That's another thing. I asked more than one. I asked the Warithudeen, I asked Imam Alfred, I think I asked Imam Hathid, and I said, explain Savior's Day if you can. I said, I heard the mayor ask, what is Savior's Day? And many of us are still trying to come to terms. We know in our heart what Savior's Day is and what the significance is. And when you follow the heart, the purity of the heart that Allah gave you, the answers can be found there. But they're not always up here reaching the intellect. So many of us, we see our brothers that we think come the same path we come, that they wrestle with how to deal with this evolution of our community. and which direction. And sometimes they'll find someone that seems to have it all together. They're listening to the words that they're saying, and so they follow them. Well, this is the smartest brother. This is the one that's got the most knowledge on the Quran, or this one, he knows Imam Mohammed. He can practically read you his sermons by memory, you know, his khutbahs by memory, and tell you what he said and quote him. This is the brother I should trust and follow. But something in your soul and in your heart always is telling you, no, that's not good enough. That Allah has more in store for us. So that's the call, I believe, that's in the soul, that purity, that humanity, that dynamic human soul that God put in us, that has been guiding us all the way from slavery to be where we are here now. And I think we are, because I always like to study things, and I never dismiss things because of my limited knowledge. And when Imam Alfred mentioned the third resurrection, I said, this is a good brother. So this must be a message that Allah has given him to share with me and to share with you all. And so it's worth reflecting upon. And so I said to myself, I said, yeah, there is something big that's happening, that has been happening all along. And there's something that we have to make happen, a big change that's coming, and it's going to have to come through us. And I believe that big change is what all the signs are pointing to, is us accepting the role, putting the fears aside, and continuing on faith and accepting the role of leadership.
That's right.
It's leadership. Allah has in store for us leadership, proper human leadership under Allah. And I truly believe that with all my heart, that I know in our local homes, in our neighborhoods, in our different walks of life, that we are leading, and that people depend on us. The councilman, he mentioned, he said the populace, the public is waiting on us because we have it. It doesn't matter if you look like the last leader, or if you talk like the last leader you saw, or you look like the big hero. Because when I look at myself in the mirror, I always turn me down. I say, no, man, that's not you. You're not the leader. But I know it deep in my heart, the fire that lives in there. I know that the guidance is there, and Allah has prepared me to share the beautiful things that Allah has given to us, and to share it not just with the people that we come across. We need to work together and really help humanity, and really be a real help. Humanity and goodness. Imam Muhammad said goodness is on the rise. Well, goodness is here. We see it. We can't deny it. The good has conquered the evil, and the good is in the forefront, and the good has the authority to say, we're not going to accept weakness and shameful behavior from our leadership. We're not going to accept evil acts from anyone. If one of us is present, we're going to speak out against it. We're not just going to feel sad and turn our hearts again and pray. We're going to take action, and we're going to speak out against the wrongs that are happening. And we're going to support the good leaders that we have and follow their leader. We're going to ask our leadership, what is it that we can do? What is it we can do to lift the burden off of you? If we could do something to help you, and we're going to trust them. We're not going to go back and consult with others. We're going to see good where good is, and we're going to follow that good and support the good. I don't know how right or wrong I am. I thought about it. I said in my heart, it always has been good. Good is good, and bad is bad. Evil is evil. And Allah only blesses and supports what's good, and He condemns what's evil and what's wrong. And I remember Imam Muhammad used to say, let's come together. Let's come together for the common good. Let's support the common good. Oh, the Christians love that. The interfaith group, the people, and it started almost an interfaith movement. I remember something else he said, the people of faith, we all wear black ties. That's our Holy Quran. Our Quran says, oh, you mu'minun, oh, you believers. He's telling us to come to Him and to worship Him and worship only Him. And the believers all over the world identify with that, not just Muslims. So Imam Muhammad, he helped the world come together for interfaith and to work for the common good. And I thought about it. I said, I know where this language is coming from, but our true battle is going to be a battle of language. Language is constantly evolving. My son, I thought I was one of the hippest guys, you know. All you have to do is stop listening to the radio and popular media for a couple of weeks and you'll be totally out of touch. And so me raising a family, I said I can't keep up with them, but I thought I was hip enough. I knew, and my son, I offered him something. You know, he wear same size shoes and other things. So I was giving him something. I said, why? And it was good, you know, it was rational. I thought, well, you like to skateboard. I said, here, put this thing on your glasses. And he said, nah, I can't wear it. I said, why not? I said, if your glasses fall off, it'll catch your glasses. And he said, that's too much like a hipster. I said, and I realized how old I was because I had no idea what he was talking about. So I learned a new term. Oh, praise do that a lot. But it's truly a blessing. And so we hear language. And if the language, you need to see what Imam Mohammed did with the scripture and the language of religion, with the religious sciences. How he looked and he said, where did this language come from? What message is it? That hasn't stopped. That isn't that thirst for knowledge or that thirst for truth, for purity, should be in your every thought and in your everyday life. Where did this influence come from and where is this going? That's the only way we can protect the good. And Shaitan is the enemy to all men. So he's constantly working and strategizing. Whatever God seeks to do of good, the Shaitan is right behind, or Satan is right behind God, seeking to pass him and get out in front and misguide, take the direction of the good he's doing off course. So we have to be soldiers in the army for God and do the work for God to preserve the righteousness and the goodness in humanity and the purity of humanity. And the term, I feel uncomfortable because it's so popular to hear people say the greater good. That doesn't sit well with my soul. Now, if somebody wants to come and explain to me why there's a greater good and why good isn't just good, then explain it to me and I'll come up here and I'll change my opinion. But I think the better term would be common good. There's a common good, and all good is good. Allah accepts only good. He doesn't accept that you go out and exercise your will because in your thoughts or in your studies you found that, well, if we do this one thing that may not be good, but we do it for a greater good, that is still good. That's not Islam. There's no expedience in Islam. So Muslims have to stay true to what we believe and what we practice. And when we hear the beautiful language of Imam Mohammed taking a little curve off to the side, and you know, because we'll look up and we won't recognize our Imam. There'll be a book and it'll say Imam W. Muhammad, and you won't recognize it in your heart because there'll be subtle changes to what Allah blessed him with. And he spent an entire lifetime under the tutelage and in this heaven type of nursery that was created by the pioneers in our community that built what we had. And so we can't let any poison come in there and change that for us. Because what our children get in the future, it'll depend on how well we preserve what we have today, God willing. Alhamdulillah. You know, and like I said, I'm so happy to be here and to explain, alhamdulillah, and praise to Allah. I still feel inadequate when it comes to explaining Savior's Day, but I love Savior's Day because I saw the love and the light in the heart and the mind and eyes of Imam Muhammad. I was telling Imams here a few minutes ago, I said we were so captivated and Imam Muhammad's mission had such a laser focus that we didn't even think to explore. I came into the community with him as a little boy, you know, holding on to his coattail, and this was after Elijah Muhammad. Immediately after,